Okay, so the story begins when Lizzie goes on her normal night out to the bookstore. She's found some interesting books about, paranormally kind of things. In particular, she's found uh, books about Wicca and New Age spirituality and Celtic magic and that sort of thing, which that seems to be what she's interested in tonight. So she's curled up around a cup of coffee, she's reading that, and she's trying to make sure that there's nobody around that knows her and that nobody sees exactly what she's reading. She has a close call because the principal of her daughter's school looks up, sees her, looks like she might be coming over, but Lizzie just sort of wills her to not do that, and it works. Lizzie doesn't think too much of that. That just, she explains it away, like she explains most things away. Right about then, her cousin, John Robert, comes in, kind of sneaks up behind her, and they have a playful exchange about her interest in the paranormal and how she should have outgrown it and how Halloween's about, more than a month away. And she tries to change the subject, and they nearly get into an argument, but they don't because she backs down because she doesn't like arguing. He sort of convinces her it's time to go. She puts all of her books back on a shelving cart. They pick out a couple of books for the kids, which he's going to pay for. He's still teasing her at the cash register, and so she sort of sets the cashier on him because he's good looking and he's charming and he's single, and she knows it'll irritate him. They talk a little bit more in the parking lot. There is a storm coming on, and they both leave, except she doesn't really leave. She kind of fiddles around in her car until he pulls away, and she immediately gets back out of her car, goes into the shop, and picks up her books, buys them, goes home. On her way home, the storm hits. Nothing particular happens. It's mostly just atmosphere and a little opportunity for her to think about how sick she is of being teased or being marginalized for her unusual interests. When she gets home, she finds her cat. She takes a bath. She shoves her wet clothes down the laundry chute. And after her bath, she goes down to do the laundry, where she promptly gets creeped out. There's the sound of rushing water along the foundation walls, and possibly some mouse activity, and just general sense of creepiness. That makes her think, once she gets back up to her cozy bedroom, that, a lot of people don't seem to like that basement. And maybe she could do sort of a cleansing, a clearing. Right now it's set up as a home blessing, which she goes through the whole thing, but I don't know, maybe I should just do a basement cleansing. Um, so she goes to bed. She looks up what it is she's thinking she might be able to do to fix the basement problem. She goes to bed. The next time we touch base with Lizzie, she is geared up to do the spell out of her book. It's going to be her first spell. It's going to be something very homey and hearty, and it'll involve cleaning and sorting through things. And she follows the directions exactly, and she's nervous, but nothing happens. I mean, nothing happens. Nothing feels different. Nothing has changed. And she sort of ends up feeling foolish about it. The next time we touch base with Lizzie, she is working in the yard. Out there, she has a fire, and what she's not aware of is that she is actually conjuring a ghost. This is the part where Gretchen, at some point in the future, will explain to her how Lizzie herself is responsible for bringing that ghost forward. She'll explain that you were burning willow wood, you had done the invitational spell just before that, you had been concentrating on family issues. I don't know. She explains it at some point later this time. Anyway, what Lizzie ends up accidentally doing is conjuring a ghost straight out of the fire. That ghost clearly goes over and goes into the house. Lizzie's weirded out, numb, a little disoriented. Eventually she goes inside, where she realizes that a heck of a lot more time has passed than she thought had passed. She's kind of freaking out about that when she realizes that there's someone standing on the stairway Again, she's thinking ghost. It turns out to be her daughter, who is sleepwalking. This is a problem because her daughter sleepwalking used to be a problem when she was young, when she was little. She used to have nightmares. She used to have sleepwalking episodes. She had night terrors, perhaps. I think she can go ahead and mention the fact at this point that Minna also had imaginary friends, but that can maybe wait till the next scene. So anyway, she tries to put Minna back to bed, and Minna is resistant. She's just sort of pliant, but not. She's not violent, but she's just not doing what her mother wants her to do. At which point, a presence pretty much whisks right past Lizzie and puts her daughter to bed for her right in front of her. Kind of in a possessive sort of, there, I took care of it kind of way. This, of course, irritates Lizzie and freaks her out a bit. The next thing that happens is that she's going to be talking to Will. She's going to explain what happened probably the next morning, similar to the way it's already set up right now, where at first she doesn't really remember exactly what goes on, and then it went on, and then it becomes more clear to her as the morning passes, and then she has her argument with Will. This is a place where definitely we get to hear about how Minna had imaginary friends when she was younger, how she's always been nervous about ghosts, and perhaps even how Halloween tends to kick things up. Yeah, in fact, that should be there, because we're not far out from Halloween right now. So it's a back and forth, Will trying to remind Lizzie that there were logical explanations for it. Lizzie saying, but now I've seen something. Him saying, yeah, you say you've seen something. How come it's always you, the cat, the kids? Blah, blah, blah. He wants none of it. Next scene, we are at either Aunt Eve's house or at the festival.